So this is an open dialogue session. It's very nice. So we are free to ask any question and to discuss, as Brother Leslie mentioned, to show you your views too. But what we are talking about is the part of the very important part of the teachings of the Buddha. So whatever Buddha said, what we have learned is from the day that he under the Bodhi tree, since he awakened or enlightenment, until the day that he passed away at the Kushinagar, Parinirvana, he entered the Parinirvana at Kushinagar. So during that 45-year time period, whatever he recited, what he was taught, we traditionally say that it is something truth, it is the truth, and that would be not able to change or go against anybody. It is something that we have to realize. What he shared with us was what he realized. His realization. So what we have difficulties to certain things that we cannot understand. Our knowledge is not matured to that level. However, this particular thing, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, is one of the major topics, major important teaching part that he teaches, in addition to Four Noble Truths and Eightfold Path that we always talk about. These are very important things. Nobody has brought it into the world prior to this. Only the Buddha brought it. Anicca, Dukkha and Anatta. They have seen Anicca and they have seen Dukkha, but not the Anatta. So that's the most difficult thing. That is the reason why he had to go for a couple of days. Even those 5 ascetics who were believing him, who were following him for a while, and they left him. Even after coming back, when Buddha was, as it showed the gratitude, he chose those 5 ascetics, yet they did not attain enlightenment. The only one person realized it. First time. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, only one person realized as human beings. But divine beings, many. Many divine beings who were ready for it, they realized it. But in the human realm, only one person. So, I believe all of you have heard these words. Anicca means not permanent. There is nothing in this world system which is forever. Everything goes through the changes. So whatever is going through the changes, that does not bring us happiness. So that is dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. And whatever is not permanent or under the changing nature and brings unhappiness to us, that cannot regard as atta, or something called permanent entity is not there, self. Anatta. So therefore, Buddha said, it's anatta, no atma. Therefore, it's a very difficult concept for many of us, for what happens. So people ask questions. Then what happened to my soul? We believe there's a soul, something is permanent entity in me. So therefore, if I don't have it, what's the purpose of doing all these things? Kind of questions are arising, we are hearing every day. So we don't have to, Buddha has pointed out what he mentioned, what he says. So he analyzed it from very second discourse taught to these 4 monks, Aditta Pariyaya Sutta, Anatta Lakkana Sutta. Anatta Lakkana Sutta. So he mentioned that. He was analyzing it. What is that Atma that you have? self that within you? Is that your ear, chakku, eye, ear, tongue, nose, body? Which part is we call Atma, or the self? So, as they say, no, either, then he asks, what is the rupa that you see, or the sound that you hear, or the smell that you feel, or the taste that you from your tongue? Is that which part, which one is the, can we call the Atma? So they all said none of those things. They realize this, but there's a difficulty for them to realizing, understanding it. What he said was, in a way, so my understanding, the way I saw it, people from our human realm, human language, we always say something, but we cannot, something that we cannot see. Buddha always shared what he realized and what he experienced. That anybody says that this is something permanent, if there's a even tiny bit of thing which is permanent, instead of asking us to follow that, asking us to follow the nirvana, search for the nirvana, he would ask us to follow that permanent thing. So therefore, he said, there's nothing, not even a grain of sand amount of thing which is permanent in this world systems. All these things go through the changes. So therefore, he encouraged people to see this. This is the nature of things. Therefore, he didn't encourage. He always says, try to, that you can see this yourself. You have to work hard at it. So he encouraged. Monks, find it. Your liberation, your nirvana, your peace, you have to find it within you. It's not outside. So saying, the monks were encouraged by the Buddha for them to practice. Showing even the, sometimes he said, there are beautiful trees, there are beautiful parks, go and practice. So what he realized was that for eons and eons he performing virtues, that skill brought him to this level. In the 2,500 years ago, into this human realm, he came to find this. With the invitation of the Devas, he come to this world. That's what we have learned. And he pursued it. His prime youth, he left his home, he went and he searched for it because he felt something is missing, that missing piece that he was searching for. And for 6 years, he was struggled through. Finally, he gained it, gained this, he could penetrate through into many lives and found out that's refining his mind. What he did was, by practicing meditation, he refined and refined and refined his mind. Finally, he realized what is this existence is. Nothing else. This is what we are still hanging around to, being unable to realize. The most difficult thing was that Anatta, concept of Anatta is the one.
Most Venerable Kondanna Mahatera and Bhikkhuni, its monks, upasikas, and other Dhamma followers. These days, we talk about this Anicca, Dukkha, and Anatta. I think that you have clear understanding of this nature. Anicca means impermanence, every time everything change. Everything is subject to change. This is not regarding to human body, but also the things are around us in this society, in the environment. All objects change every time. When we were born in our mother's womb, from that day, our body is always changing. Now you can think of your experience of your life. Think of an infant or baby. From first day of his or her birth until now, it is changing. Day by day, from week to week, from month to month, and from year to year. If someone who lives in this society right now is 50 years old, as example, throughout this life, his body has changed. At this moment also, when you get a clear example of this moment also, our body is changing. Am I right? Yes, changing. It's like when we want to express in English present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. Present continuous tense we use to express the idea like the action is going at this moment. As example, I am speaking. You are listening. Likewise, when we compare it to our body, this body also continuously changing. Anybody cannot stop that. Can? Impossible. Cannot do it. Cannot be done it. So, the great teacher, the Buddha mentioned in the Dhammapada, Achirang vatayang kayo pathavi nadisesati. Chuddo apeta viññāno nirathangva kalingarang. Its simple meaning is, Achirang, we cannot live longer in this society. You know, there are some person who lives in this society very short time, very short age.
100 years maybe.
Yeah, sometimes some people live more than 100, over 100, but it's very, very rare. So, some people die just after they were born, right? Maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, or few days. I have one experience when I were here last few days. A lady came for blessing and to transform it to infant boy. After born in, she lived only 5 days. 5 days. 5 days. She told me that it is very sorrowful, sadness things. I explained to her clearly and simply the reality of our life. Anicca. Or someone can live around 30 years, 70 years, 80 years, 100, sometimes more than 100 years. So, achirang, we cannot live longer. Thousands of years, 200, no, we cannot. One day we have to fall onto this earth. That is our death. One day we have to encounter our death. We have to face the death. Anybody cannot avoid. Buddha mentioned that one as a simile in literature. You see some trees in the environment around us. There are several branches of that trees. That branches of the trees also fall down. When they fall down on the floor, day by day, they decayed. Day by day, decayed. Like our body. Our body also felt the same thing. Patavinadi says, Chuddo apeta viññāno. If we die, there is no mind in that dead body. Niratthaṅva kalingarang. After that, we cannot move our body. We cannot move our hands, legs, body, whatever it is. That is very common phenomena we can see in our eyes in this society. My body, the Bhante's body, Bhikkhuni's body, and also yours body also. For this natural thing. Right? If someone who is very rich in this society, his body also face the same thing. If he rich, he cannot stop that one. As I told you in my discussion earlier, the king's body also face the same thing. Right? How much one who has some money or moneyed person, his body also face the same thing. That is why I told you this anicca is very common phenomena, element or sign or characteristics of three in this society.
Thank you very much for giving me this chance. So all the things have said by the reverences. So my idea, according to my knowledge actually, I think that this anicca, dukkha, anatta, three are the three characteristics of life in the fundamental world. I think so. So these three have interconnection. So we know everyone, anicca means impermanent. So nothing permanent in this world. Every second, every moment, everything changing. So it is lead for you to suffering. Everything, once you recognize it's changing, always make you unhappy. For example, now we know our body. I mean, every second it's change. So when you recognize that, for example, I cannot walk like previously. I cannot hear like previously. I mean, I'm not capable to do anything like in my young age. So it's make you unhappy. It's lead you for the suffering. So once you understand this, automatically you recognize that there is nothing we can grab, there is nothing we can call as I, me, my. There are nothing there. So I think these three are the major teaching of the Buddhism to understand and make you to the and lead you for the final liberation of Nibbana. If somebody can go through this, if somebody can truly understand this, that's mean you are in the liberation path. So anicca, dukkha, anatta always keep you and reminds you the core teaching of the Buddhism. So I think that's what I want to tell. Maybe that the Reverend Venerable Sirs can elaborate that's more. Thank you.
Now I think I'd like to ask a question. But all of us who are here, I think we can speak for ourselves. Now, from the childhood to youthness, we will not accept this. Right? Are you ready to accept this changing nature? We are under this changing nature. Show us your name. Yes, all of us. All of us are going through this. So therefore we have to accept it. Buddha did not say something not happen. To now, only time that we maybe start feeling sad, when you start to see your gray hair, right? Then you feel, oh, I'm getting old, right? You then say that to yourself, but you still don't like to present that. Nowadays, many people, what do they do? Color it, right? Hide it. Why are you hiding it? So you think it's not nice, it's not nice looking. It's not pleasant. So thinking so, we change. But until that time, after that, even though we start seeing it, still we are trying to hide it. Right? Hiding it, we are going the way that we used to go. Spiritually, maybe we are Buddhist or somebody else by other, spiritual traditions. We know that every tradition, they talk about life, right? We are talking about life. We are here to be happily live. Yes, happily live is a good thing. And also we have to, as Buddhists, we always believe we have to live happily, and also we have to collect something for our journey too. Sansaric sojourn, we all go through it. Because none of the things that we collect, we are taking. Right? We have we can collect so many material things. So we can collect so many treasures, precious stones, jewelries, money. So sometimes maybe we have target, oh, I want to be a millionaire. So we may become, once we come to millionaire, we want to be, okay, that's not enough, I need a little bit more. So keep going and going. But we have no guarantee that we are safe throughout the time. So what Buddha said was, there's a particular discourse telling us, like a person whose hair is in fire. If your hair gets in fire, what do? What would you do? Huh? You try to put it out. And similarly, he's using also a cloth. If your cloth is in fire, what would you do?
Remove it. Under which sutta, this was mentioned, that we should practice like our hair.
Right. That's what he said. Like same hastiness, rushness should be there. Like you are trying to put off the fire, same rushness you must be developing, your spiritual qualities, virtues. So that's what Buddha said. So why does he say? He was not here to guide us in wrong direction, remember. He was very compassionately, he came to this world, and compassionately he was guiding us. So that is his advice. So he encouraged us to practice. While we are doing, of course, we have to live happily, and at the same time we must be able to do a lot of things, whatever we can do, nice things. Not only the temple, don't think we are talking about temple. To be let go of our weaknesses, what we have. We have to figure out our own weaknesses. All these weaknesses are based on greed, hatred, and ignorance. These are the root causes, right? Because of greediness, we keep going the way that we go. Habitual, so it becomes a habit. We continue building up that habitual path. But what Buddha says is, work out your greed, work out your hate, or anger, or ill will, or aversion, and your ignorance. So ignorance is to improving our understanding, our wisdom. Dhamma is for us to understand. In a spiritual path is the way to go. In that spiritual path, we call it Eightfold Path. Buddha has given. What do we have in that Eightfold Path? Even though we call it Eightfold Path, what we always do, 5 basic principles are there. Right? Sikkha, 5 sikkha. Not to kill or harm any life. So that is something that we have to practice. And also that is not enough. Buddha says, we also should be able to take care of them. If they are other beings, it could be animal, it could be human beings who are needy, we must be able to support them. In one of the sutras, he talked about that. And then, number 2 is, not to take anything which is not given to us. Maybe we are desirous when we see something, but we have no right to take it. If it is not ours, if it is not given to us, we should not be taking it. And also not only that, he also says, what you have, you must be able to share with the other beings. It could be other people living close to you. It could be other beings. So you must be able to share it. And number 3, not to commit any kind of sensual misconduct. Misconduct means overindulgence. We overindulge our senses. So Buddha says, be moderate. Be moderate. So moderation is important. So one of the things that the difficulty that human beings have is we don't know the limit. Especially when we do not know the Dhamma, we don't know where to measure. What is the measurement? Whenever we say that, oh, you are gone, too much. I have eaten too much today. When you eat too much, what happens? Uncomfortable. Right? Same way. Whatever we try to do, please our eye, ear, tongue, nose, body, these 5 senses. This is what we are operated by these 5 senses. So if we try to indulge overwhelmingly these 5 senses, that means that you are gone too far. Seeking sensual pleasures. Buddha did not say don't seek sensual pleasures. He said be moderation, be mindful. That's what he said. Little by little, we guide ourselves. We practice, we can let go. By doing so, we are in the path. So that path is important. That's a spiritual path. So verbally, we do physical action, verbal action, mental action. Verbal actions, so we have to be mindful too. We should not use the language that hurt other people. First one, we always say musavada, not to deceive other people. Deceiving other people is not a nice thing. Misleading. So we also encourage us not to abuse other people. Abusive language or unpleasant language we should not use. So instead what he said was pleasant language. Be pleasant. Not to divide other people. Because of our malicious thoughts or our jealousy, we may use the language that can divide other people. Spreading rumors like. Sometimes what we call slandering or tail chattering. So we shouldn't do that. And the other one is gossip. Gossiping is nobody is going to benefit from that. So these are the 4 verbal mistakes we always keep doing. So Buddha said, stay away from it. So that's a spiritual path. If we can live in this, so when we know the Dhamma, we keep doing this. Throughout the time, I believe Buddha, if you could read through these basic principle he talks about many a times. Why is that? Self-discipline is important. Our patience, our moderation, all these things coming from that's a discipline. Even though I think I mentioned before that some people don't like to hear the word discipline. It's like a taboo word for some people, but otherwise there's no training. During this short time period that we are living in this world, we have to train ourselves. We have to come ourselves into level above where we are. So that effort, that we have to do. So in the Eightfold Path, in his Four Noble Truths, this is shown as a Magga path. So when we practice, we can be looking at it, we can be at peace. But we are looking for peace. So we are in the state of yearning and burning. So therefore we have to make effort to understand and to practice. Our actions should be going in that direction.
In explaining Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, I was made to understand. I was made to understand 2 statements. there's no such thing as mind.
Atman.
The mind is an activity of the body.
Bhante Sivali's statement, I think, is a direct extraction from the teachings of our late teacher, Bhante Punanji. So we all continue to focus our attention on the teachings that we have received in the past, and all of us continue to journey along, trying to ensure that we are on a sustainable pathway. We have no wish to drop off the pathway. Okay. So I think it's quite clear, because from our holistic understanding of the picture that the late Bhante Punanji provided us, I personally conclude that all the teachings that we received up to now has been very conclusive to the statement that he made, that life is insecurity. We are all born, our destination is death, and the only way to get out of samsara is Nibbana.
Nibbana.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is regarding the mind in our body. So, can we see the mind in our body? Or how do you realize or understand that mind is consist of in our body?
None of us have realized what our late teacher has expounded to us. We continue to be grateful to our late teacher. We have no intention to create controversy. The definition that our late teacher provided us has been very clear. What is the body? 5. If we include the mind, it's 6. So it depends how you look at mind. Our late teacher defined it. The body created the mind. It's an activity of the body system, which he called the central nervous system or whatever. He's a great doctor, okay? So we feel that his presentation makes a lot of scientific sense.
Regarding the mind, the Buddha mentioned in the Dhammapada like this. There is a Pali version, Pali verse. Durangamang ekacharang asarirang guhasayang. Ichittang sanyamesanti mokkhanti marabandhana. Actually, we cannot see the mind in our eyes. We cannot see the mind in our eyes. So, throughout our body is there mind. Throughout our body, the whole of the body is their mind. Yes, yes. The whole body, there is mind. You know, in day-to-day life, we feel a lot. We feel a lot. As example, I touch Bhante Kondanna, right? So when I touch him, now he is feeling. Am I right? He's feeling. If there is no feeling, there is no mind. If there is mind, there is feeling. Am I right? Am I right? Yes. You know, when we talk about hair, is there our mind? Hair? Oh, is there our mind? No. There is no mind in hair. There is no mind. When we shave or when we cut our hair, do we feel? Yes. Do we feel? No. As example, when you take that hair into your hand and get a scissors and cut, you can cut, right? After removing, you can cut, right? But we do not feel on that, right? After removing this, or if it is on our head, when we cut this hair, there is no any feeling. There is no mind in our hair. And also this teeth. After removing this teeth, we can put it here. We take a hammer and we try to break it. There is no mind. And also nails, right? We cut our nails. Do you feel that one at that time? No. When we remove it, when we put on the table, we cut again and again and again. After removing all those things from our body, there is no more. Right? Anyone cannot see the mind in our body. We can't see in our eyes. You know, there are so many physicians or doctors and also surgeons. When surgeon does surgery, if there is mind, if he can see in the body, he should see that one. Right? He should see. The surgeons can see the mind separately in our body. No. But there is mind in our body, throughout our body. That is why we feel. That's how we feel. Buddha mentioned that one, Durangamang ekacharang. This mind goes everywhere. We cannot stop. When you think of your house just now, you can send your mind to your house to see something. Right? If you have been gone to Twins Tower, at this moment you can send your mind towards the Twins Tower. Then you can see something in your mind over there. Right? So, however, that mind is in our body, but we can see in our eyes, but whole the body, there is mind, except hair, teeth and nails. That is quite wonderful. In Dhammapada, in the Chitta Vagga, Buddhahamduru has mentioned something regarding our mind, or we can say Chitta.
To continue to ask about the mind, right, can we see mind as Anatta, which is non-self? Because the reason I'm saying this is because I heard from when we do a insight or vipassana meditation practice, we see whatever things that are arising in our mind as Annica and Anatta. So Anicca, I think, is okay because it's like the feeling will comes and goes. But how do we see it as a non-self, like the whatever pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral mindset arising during the observation? How do we see it as Anatta? So if we see it as Anatta, does it mean that the mind is not ourself? Yeah, I'm a bit confusing about this.
Mind is Anatta. See mind as Anatta. This mind is, when we think of it, even Buddha said not to think about it. Among one of the achintaniya dhamma, that call. Because, you will get confused. Buddha himself mentioned that. Not to think about it. Mind is something that kind of, thing that we should not start arguing or discussing about. It's invisible.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, and mind is live.
Yeah.
Can I just raise a question?
Yes.
Our late teachers' teachings include the Eightfold Path. Okay. May I just ask the question? Meditation is a mandatory crossover to Nibbana. Can we conclude that statement?
Mandatory?
Yes. In other words, however you do, whatever you do, if you do not meditate, can we exit samsara? Thank you, Bhante.
And there are certain places that Buddha had mentioned. For example, if you take the middle and saying number 2, Sabbasava Sutta, number 2, I think. I believe number 2, Sabbasava Sutta. There are 7 things. Out of 7, meditation is 1. So meditation is something needed. Without that training, meditation helps you to train your mind, calm it down. What Buddha is teaching is to polish our mind. All throughout these 45 years, what he taught was to polish our mind. Remember, our mind is like something like rough gemstone. Without polishing it, no value. You can add value to it by polishing, cutting and polishing. Same way, our minds are, Chief Reverend used to say, you have an animal mind and also you have a divine mind. He used to say that. Animal nature is within us, divine nature also within us. So if we let go of animal nature, so if we can improve our divine nature, I think that would help us to see this. Go in the positive side. Bring our mind into a state of peace. There's nothing else. Nibbana means bringing your mind to a state of peace. Without having all this.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
But then there's another way, a shortcut way, You can do metta, karuna, mudita, and then you get to upekkha, without meditation.
That is also meditation.
Meditation.
Yes.
Of course.
Metta without, cultivating mind. Meditation means cultivating your mind. We cultivate. Cut and polishing, we keep going, refining our mind.
Clean.
Yes.
Clean our mind.
Clean our mind. We have to take care of the mind. I said that throughout the 45 years, his teaching is guiding us to polish our mind, nothing else. It's all about mind. Where is our greed? In our mind. Where is our hatred? In our mind.
We live our lives because of our mind.
We continue to be in the cycle because of our mind. We are all these desires, craving, attachment. Where are we attached? From what we attach to. Our mind is the thing that clinging to it. Whatever we are looking for. So therefore, if we read the teachings, all that is to dilute this gross nature of this hard nature of our mind. With understanding we can. If we are ready to let go, the greed that we have for certain things, then okay, we can reduce. Look at your home and what you have, brought for yourself. One by one, if you can let go, give it away. So you'll be free. Empty house, you'll be free. You will have nothing to worry about. No. Yes. You remember that story, beautiful little story that I used to tell children. One man, he felt very troublesome, being so much, difficult to stay home. So his mind would say to go and practice. Only thing he had was his tool, shovel, that he dig the, ground and planted the veggies. So that's the only tool he had. He's a very poor man. But his poverty, he thought, no, this is very troublesome, painful life, I go. He went to the forest and he started practicing. When he spends few days there, what comes to his mind? Oh, my shovel is better than this. So he went back home, started again, doing the same thing. We all face some situations like, when we have similar life, daily routine, same thing, we get fed up, we're tired with that. Then we think, if I have something else to do, look for something else. Also, as we said, can I go to vacation? Right? We change our position, that's what we do. Otherwise, when we ask throughout the time, 12 months, you keep going to your office and coming back, going to office, coming back, and then sometimes you take vacation because this kind of boredom built up in your mind. You want to get rid of that. So likewise, this man, he went same way 7 times. 7 times he went back and forth into the forest and back to home. Finally, he started thinking about it. Why? Why am I coming back? I know that life was good. Whenever he is here, he sees that part, life is good. When he is there, he thinks this life is good. So that's what he attached to. Then what he thought was, if I don't have this shovel with me, I don't think I would be coming back. So then he thought about and then he went to the river, close to the river, where is a kind of cliff, and he said he didn't even want to look at it, and he rotated and spinning and spinning and spinning, let it go. He didn't see where it went to. Then he was so happy that day. being happy, he said, Jitang me, I won, I conquer, he is, screaming. At that same time, king of the country was passing by after winning a war. Hearing it, he was surprised. What didn't he win? Just, I am coming from winning a war, but somebody is screaming that he won. Then he asked his men to go and find this man. Then he brought and asked, what did you win? Oh Maharaja, king. Then he said, I won myself. Being able to let go of my possession, that what I had. That is true. So that's how we all are. We are bonded with our things, what we have, whatever we have collected. We treasured them and we keep them. And that makes us to be there. Otherwise, where we would be? We would be any place. We would be free. So that's how we all are. Monks may be, I have to go back to my temple. Right? You may be saying that, I have to go see my children or whoever is there. So that's how our minds are working. That's why we have to train our minds to let go of, not to attach to things that whatever we have. Instead of owning things, if we can let go of things, it would be easy. I think I mentioned to you the discourse called Velama Sutta. He did the same thing. His parents, his grandparents didn't take whatever they earned. They had millionaires, they had millions, they left and they went. The Bodhisattva, when he was born as a Velama, and he just changed his mind. What's use of all this wealth? My grandparents, they didn't take it. My parents, they didn't take it. Let me take them. And he distributed it. People who needed it. He emptied the whole house. He was very free. He was very happy. He filled with joy, nothing else. Not with the material that he owned. He inherited from his parents and grandparents. It's a hard work. But we have to understand, at least if we prepare our mind like this understanding, one day we will be able to do it. Empty ourselves.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
This is also regarding the mind. Mind is live in our body. That's live. Mind is live. That is why we feel every time. Understand? Mind is there. And also, if we do not control or tame our mind, we cannot live happily in this society. Mind like a stray dog. Stray dog. Domestic dog is limited or restricted to that house, right? Everyone look after him. But stray dogs, no. That dogs can go everywhere. Mind like that. If we do not tame or control our mind, sometimes we have to encounter or face lot of issues or problems. That taming or controlling mind is very, very important for each and every person in this society. we can use that mind towards two things. First, for good things as well as for bad things. Buddha has mentioned the value of mind, how we do everything based on our mind. If you meditate, mind is very, very important to you. If you read something, that is very important for you. Not only for the exam. In day-to-day life, we read something, we have to concentrate. Concentrate. By concentrating, we do tame or control our mind. Not to let go to the mind out. According to the Karaniya Metta Sutra, loving kindness, some monks went out to the jungle to meditate, to concentrate. Those monks could not do that meditation because of they heard a lot of noise. There were some bad smells, so many issues. If those monks try to meditate, try to concentrate, they fail. Then the monks came to the Buddha and told the story behind that. Then Buddha gave them advice how to control your mind in the jungle when you go for meditation. And also once Bhante Vakkali in the Buddha's time. Now his presence of the Buddha, like you sitting, Buddha was preaching the Dhamma. Bhante Vakkali looked at the Buddha without understanding the Dhamma or anything. He did not put his mind towards the Dhamma to understand, to realize. He just looked at the Buddha like watching a TV. Right? Like watching a TV. Buddha saw his mind, whose Vakkali's mind. The Buddha asked, Kinte Vakkali minate putikayana. Kinte Vakkali minate putikayana. Buddha advised him, asked him, not necessary to look at my serene or beautiful or something. This body is, my body is also impermanent. In my body includes dukkha also. Just not necessarily look at this one, please understand, realize to eradicate all sufferings. Mind is very, very important. Throughout our life, the most important thing is what? Our mind. Our mind. To do anything, mind get the priority. He get the first place. Before you came to the, before you engage on this program, you thought, oh, I can become a novice. I can become a upasika for 7 days. What got the priority? Your mind got the priority to engage in this work. Understand? So that is why each and every task what we do in day-to-day life, mind get the first place. When you read something, when you listen something, when you look at something, when you walk, when you cook at your kitchen or in the kitchen, when you work in your working place or somewhere else, private body or government body, mind get the first place. It get the priority to do everything. So we have to understand that one. And also when we want to gain the highest happiness of enlightenment, in that occasion also, circumstance also, mind get the first place. Right? Buddha has mentioned tanhakyo nirodho nibbana. Tanhakyo nirodho nibbana. In that place also get the priority of our mind. Right? Without thinking of that one, we cannot do anything. In the Dhammapada, first verse is Mano Pubbangama Dhamma Mano Settha Manomaya Manasache Paduttena Bhasativa Karotiya. That's the first verse in the Dhammapada. When we do good or bad things, our mind get the first place. When you do something, our mind get the first place, priority. In another stanza, Buddha has mentioned clearly, Kayena sangmaru sadhu, sadhu vachaya sangmaru. Manasa sangmaru sadhu, sadhu sabbatta sangmaru. Sabbatta sanguto bhikkhu, sabba dukkha pamunchati. There are so many sufferings, right, in this life. When we want to eradicate, when we want to root out all the sufferings, we need to get that this pure mind to eradicate all those things. I have explained that one too earlier. Yeah, I gave this stanza to you as I remember, right, with the meaning. Go through that one. Kayena sangmaru sadhu. We have to practice every day. Practice is very, very important than the methods. Practice every day. So think, get something, mind get priority or the first place what we do in day-to-day life or from birth to bed every day.
When we meditate, lower down our mind activity.
That is what we call as calming the mind.
That's why it's easy to say taming the mind. When you say taming the mind, for us, it's try to tame the mind is erratic. It is erratic, and then try to make some order.
If it is erratic, that is going to be struggle.
Because the struggle at the beginning it will be a struggle.
But as we do, at the beginning, because your restless mind, that's the nature of it. As you're trying to meditate, you may start noticing that restless mind. So, but if you continue to practice, that would help you to calm it down. Then your mind would be here. So that mind can see things. When the mind is calm, you will be able to see things clearly. So this is what happened. As Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree, he was with a firm determination, he sat. Even though my flesh and blood dried up, I would not give up this seat. So that is how he sat, and he kept practicing meditation. And in the first watch of the night, he gained the first realization. What was it? At that moment, according to sutras, what he realized was that he could penetrate into many lives of his own, into the past. He says that eons and eons I could see through. On who he was, what he was wearing, what he was eating, who was around, all the details he could see. It's not my word. If you like to see it, there are few sutras it mentioned, but Veranja Sutta. Veranja Sutta. That's in that, that's where I found it first. So I remember that. So it mentioned there. And then he did not, sometimes if it happened to us, we would be very excited. So we would be jump up and down, or we may get up and go. But Buddha did not stop there. So as a bodhisattva, he continued to practice. As he continued to practice, in the middle of the night, he starts another experience he had. Then he saw beings who are dying and born again. Death and birth of those other beings he could see. There he saw differences. Difference was that whoever beautiful here who became very ugly. Being who was very ugly, he saw is very beautiful. And being who was very rich became very poor. So much of varieties he starts seeing. Then he start thinking about what is the reason for this. Then he figured out there's nobody punishing him. There's not somebody else's work. But this is the result of those beings' own actions, what they have done. Their own karma. That is where this karmic connection comes to exist. Even having that experience, he did not stop. Then he continue to meditate. Then finally, in the last part of the night, early morning, he starts seeing what we call as asavakkaya jnana, knowledge to eradicate all the defilements. He has already let go on so much of his, defilements, but still there are residuals were there. So that left over that he could work out. So that's what the enlightenment means, those three kinds of knowledges. In Pali we call it Dibba Chakku Jnana, divine eye. And the number 2, Chuti Utpatti Jnana, death and birth of the other beings. There may be another name, technical name, we will find it. Also can. And the other one is called Asavakkaya Jnana, eradication of all the defilements, knowledge of eradicating all. Therefore, Buddha is called Tevijja, his name for the Buddha too. Trividya, 3 knowledges that he gained. Then he was so happy and starts sitting under the Bodhi tree. And he expressed his joyful feeling. It is good for you if you can remember it in Pali. It's beautiful. Aneka jati sansarang. Many, many lifetimes in this sansaric circle. I was searching for you, the builder of this house. So I was searching. Today I found you. Hereafter, you will not build this house for me again. Why? Because I destroy the whole, yes, all the beams and the rafts, columns and everything. The roof is not there anymore. So therefore you will not be able to make it for me again. So he was so happy. Aneka jai sansara sandha vissang animisang gahakarakang gavisang dukkha jati punah. Dukkha jati, again and again by coming into this cycle, I faced that much of dukkha. I saw that builder today, gahakarak punagehan, you will not build this house again. Sabba te pasuyo, all the facilities I destroyed, Buddha says. Sabba te pasuka bhagga gahakutam visankharagatang. That's a beautiful word. Visankharagatang chittang. My mind, no more sankhara there. Sankharaless. I brought that mind into sankharaless situation. No more defilements, nothing. If we have sankhara, we drag into another existence. So that's a beautiful word. So he was happy with that. Yes. Yes. Please.
Bhante, can you explain what the difference between thought and mind? What is the difference? When we purify, is it a thought or we purify the mind? Because when meditating, what is arising? Is it mind or thoughts?
I recommend not to speak about mind.
But Bhante been saying about mind just now, explaining about mind. So, no, I just want to, because during meditations, what
thoughts
is
are
arising?
generating, right? Thoughts are arising.
So are we purified? Because just previous Bhante was talking about we are not purifying mind. We are supposed to be purifying thoughts. So what is the difference between thoughts and mind? Is it thoughts is, the mind is universals, but thoughts is individuality. But we attach to the thoughts as though it is my thoughts. And we are trying to detach from thoughts.
When we talk, discuss in that manner, what happens is we are believing there's something called organ-like mind and their thoughts are there. Chitta Chetasika. In the language-wise, it's mentioned there, Chitta and Chetasika.
So what is actually during meditations that is disturbing? That is what?
You mean disturbing?
I mean, because we are doing the concentrations.
Right.
Then the concentration is out. Then we have to bring back the concentration. So that is a thought or that is
that
a
mind or thought? Thought goes away, your mind runs away.
Or are they the same, but we are intellectually trying to label it? Or is it mind is mine, thought is my thought? Because certain time is that thoughts belong to me because it's through my experience that thought arises.
Certain thought arises and they keeps, that thoughts are taking us away from that our object, right, of meditation.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to us. We, even though we are sitting and meditating on our breath, so another thoughts are intercepting it and keeps go away.
Yes. And
whenever I notice that, whenever we notice it is somewhere, so we bring it back to our breath.
No, that's why, is that a thought or is that a mind?
Those are thoughts that are arising in us. That's the one that carry your taking away from that object. Your thoughts are going.
Thoughts. Because thoughts is anger thoughts or anger mind?
Angry thoughts,
Not mind, correct?
angry mind.
So we are going.
I think we are using it. I think we don't understand it properly, and sometimes we call it. Alternatively, we are using this for the same thing. Mind and thoughts. We feel like in the language it has yes, mind and thoughts. Chitta and Chetasika. There are two words in Abhidhamma, according to Abhidhamma at least.
So in order to purify the anger thoughts, we are not supposed to attach, correct? Or how do I purify that anger thought? Because when the anger thought arises,
when we
have
say,
to bring back to our
when we
breathing.
say thoughts, we are purifying our thoughts. Can we say that? Get rid of thoughts, negative thoughts. If we train ourselves not, if patience we have, let's say, patience we have, compassion we have, and we are improving those skills, and metta we develop. All these things are that we are developing. By when we do that, our minds will be, pure. We will not thinking any bad thoughts again. This is a matter of language, I believe. We shouldn't be caught up in that. So we use these words, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
This is regarding dukkha or unsatisfactoriness. Do you encounter, face unsatisfactoriness in life? Do you? Yes, often. Yeah, Buddha has mentioned on this dukkha, jatipi dukkha, jarapi dukkha, vyadipi dukkho, maranampi dukkhang, appyehi sampayogo dukkho, piyehi vipayogo dukkho, yam piccang nalabhati tampi dukkhang. Sankittena panchupadanakkhandha dukkha. These are the ways of forming unsatisfactoriness in our life. How? First one is jatipi dukkha, birth. It brings us unsatisfactoriness. Right? That the main root bring us this unsatisfactoriness. Because of our birth, we face each dukkha. Right? Each dukkha. If there is no birth, there is no suffering, unsatisfactoriness. The main root is dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. Then, jarapi dukkha, decay. Every time our body gets decay, every time, it brings us unsatisfactoriness or suffering. Third one is vyadipi. There are so many illnesses, right? In day-to-day life. We feel a lot. There is no any limit regarding illness. There are so many kinds. Because of that illness, we feel a lot. Feel a lot. In one place, the Buddha has mentioned that our body like a bird's neck. Like a bird's neck. Right? Like a bird's nest. The birds are like illness. Birds go out of the nest and come back to the nest in the evening. Likewise, so many diseases come to our body. When you take some medicine or something, goes away. Next point is Maranampi Dukkha. Everyone face this death. Everyone die one day. We cannot say when, at what time, what is the place for death. No, we cannot say. Sometimes, some people die on this earth. Some people die in the sea also, in the ocean also. Some people die in the sky. In the sky. There is no place for death. And also there is no any country for death. Right now, we are Sri Lankans, 3 of us. We came here. Sometimes we may die. Here we cannot say. But we are Sri Lankans. Before we back to our country, we may die. That's the life nature. There is no any place. When you go to Sri Lanka or when you go abroad or to another country, you may die sometimes. There are some experiences we heard. We read something in some newspapers. Understand? And also this death also brings us sorrow, painful. The another point Buddha has mentioned is Appiyehi sampayogo dukkho. Sometimes there are some people we don't like to associate with them. Am I right? Am I right? Yes, there are. But we don't like to associate with them. We don't like to talk with them. We don't like to work with them. Right? We don't like to do some activities with them. It brings, if we associate those people also bring us to unsatisfactoriness. Piyehi vippayogo dukkho. Now we are here as Dhamma friends. And one day we have to depart. We have to depart. After 1 week we have to depart. Each one. Then do you feel? Do you feel about that? Maybe sometimes you feel because of we are here around 1 week, after that we have to depart. When you think of our life of schooling time, there were so many friends in our class. After the O level or A level or university life, we have to depart. Right? We feel a lot because of we have to depart from our good friends, pen friends or mango friends, or we can say our favorites. It brings also feeling of unsatisfactoriness to our life. Then the Buddha mentioned lastly like Yam piccang na labhati tampi dukkha. If we like something, if we favor to get something, we cannot get those things. Right? That also brings us suffering. Oh, I don't have this thing. as example. Now, the laptop is here, right? You prefer to get this laptop. But you don't have sufficient or enough money to buy this one. Then what happened to you? You feel a lot of, sadness on that. Because of, I cannot buy this one, I don't have money. That also brings us unsatisfactoriness or dukkha. Understand? As a very familiar example is, if you want to build a house, then you don't have money. You don't have money. You prefer, but you don't have money to build up that building. Then you feel a lot. The last one is yam pichang nalabatam padukkang sankittena panchupadanakhanda dukkha. As Bhante said so far, 5 senses bring suffering to you. Not only you, but also us. Not only us, every person in this society. Those who live in this country or out of the country. In this world, in this universe. Right? So, when we see something in our eyes, we feel a lot good and bad. How serene, how beautiful, or how much it bad. Sometimes you don't like to see some person, something, but we have to see. We feel a lot. Then your nose, your ear, your tongue, your body. These 5 senses also bring us suffering from morning to bed. Right? Every time, every day, every week, every month, every year, until we die. Right? In the next birth also, we feel likewise. The Buddha has mentioned clearly, these are the factors, these are the elements that we suffer in day-to-day life. We listen to the Dhamma, we practice the Dhamma, doing meditation, and involved in good activities to eradicate all those sufferings. Understand that we have to understand the reality of this life. The final one is Anatta. Bhante will mention. Ananta, not Anatta. We have to pronounce the Pali word is not Anatta. 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 That is why we need to learn the Pali alphabet clearly. If not quite difficult to pronounce some word. I told you, I hope to, tell something regarding the Pali alphabet on 22nd. As I suppose, I don't know whether I can manage the time as well on that day with the Parabhava Sutta. Whatever it is, I take 15 minutes or 30 minutes for that one. If not, we will see another way. Anatta means there is no soul or non-soul, not self. Right? But in day-to-day life, we can say you, I, she, it. them, yourself, themselves, itself. If there is no anybody in our, there is no person in our body or object in our body, but we use those words. Those are merely just only words in the English language. We call pronouns. Right? Pronouns. In day-to-day life, we use all those words. It is easy to us to remember your name. We call Sumana, Chandananda, Sivali, likewise. When I address you, we use you. Right? It may be for a one person, it may be for whole the class. Right? These are merely words to use in the English language, but there is no any person. There is no any person. We can't see. There is no any soul. Right? So you have to understand this one also. Bhante, I think, will express some idea on this one.
I think we don't have enough time. This is a big topic to spend more long time. But let me read from Anatta Lakkana Sutta, since I found it. Because form is not self. Were form self, then this form would not lead to affliction. And one could have it of form. Let my form be thus, let my form be not thus. And since form is not self, so it leads to affliction. And none can have it of form. Let my form be thus, let my form be not thus. So if it is ourself, we must be able to control it. We must be able to ask it to be the way we want, but it does not happen that way. So Buddha says, therefore there's no self. Bhikkhu, same thing with the feelings. Because feeling is not self. Perception is not self. Determination are not self. Because consciousness is not self. Were consciousness self, then this consciousness would not lead to affliction. So if any of these things were self, definitely we should have been able to control it. We cannot. We cannot control it. So this is why Buddha says there's no such self which is a permanent, everlasting entity as. So Buddha said, no he tang I don't know such thing. No he tang janami, no he tang, I don't see such thing. This is this only thing. Maybe you define something the way you like as self. But Buddha says, I don't see such thing, I don't know such thing. That's what he said. So therefore nobody has to worry about how they define, if they have defined something. So Buddha said, I don't know. Only Buddha teaches only what he knew. Remember. He taught only what he knew and what he saw. His experiences, nothing else. He didn't learn somebody and teach it. So therefore all these teachings are his own experiences. His realization. So therefore, that's a big arguments were there during the Buddhas. They had also done some experiments. Some certain funny experiments too. So, but all those things are, Buddha did not accept any of those things as. So, if there is anything as permanent, he would definitely, instead of asking us to find Nibbana or the peace, he would ask, follow that. He didn't do that. So therefore we will stop there. So we will continue to talk about it. That's Anatta Lakkana Sutta, Sangyutta Nikaya. Sangyutta Nikaya 2259. Yes. That's from Access to Insight. You can find it there.
This is reference. So, what the Buddha taught by Professor Valpalo Rahula, there is a book on the bookshelf also there. What the Buddha taught, all those things clearly mentioned, except some sutras in Tripitaka. What the Buddha taught by Valpala Rahula. Yes, Rahula. Okay, thank you. To conclude.
So we will conclude this night in our meeting. So wishing all of you to have a good night. And if there's any confusion about things, so we can continue to discuss tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Okay? Thank you. Gata Vakya. Sabbitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavattvantarayo sukhi dighayuko bhava bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devataha sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanghanubhave sada sotti bhavantu te. Thank you and good night.